Let's do it.
Yo.
What it do, y'all?
What up, people?
Welcome back to the Holy and Hood Pod. We know there was a break. Y'all don't pay us enough to be here consistently. You can fix that right now by subscribing to Patreon.
Please.
Right?
Listen. Subscribe.
All right, thank you.
Everything.
But other than that, I'm Malik.
I'm Tariq.
And like we said, welcome back to Holy and Hill. We got producer Matt in the building.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Real niggas coming out the so-flow. And the flow wavy got a bolo. Oh no, looking like you running out of stamina. Call yourself an animal, cause you know you ain't.
Before we get started, I think Tariq got a question for us today.
All right, so what Bible hill are you? I saw this on Instagram. What Bible hill are you willing to die on? Like, what thing in the Bible do you believe is like, I think X about it, I'm willing to go to bat for it.
Not even theological. I'm just be silly.
No, it doesn't have to be theological.
John had a slick mouth.
John the writer or John the Baptist?
John the writer. John the Baptist, we know had a slick mouth.
Okay.
John the writer.
That's why his head got cut
Right,
off.
that's what I was going to say. Chop that man's head off.
That's pretty.
You talk too
that's
much.
pretty-
John the writer. Why? Because in his own book, he says the disciple Jesus loves.
That's made plenty of times.
How do you call yourself that? And then he was like, and the disciple Jesus loves outran Peter.
Oh yeah, to the tomb.
Yeah, like, hey, what are you doing, bro?
He's like, I beat you in the foot race.
It's canon now, stupid.
Forever etched in stone.
Yo, literally.
Forever.
The world will always never.
The entire world will always know that I beat you in the foot race.
And if you're like that in letters that are scripture, how are you in real life? Scripture has filtered out. We will say it filters out a lot of the worst parts of you as a person who's writing it.
And it still shows the worst parts.
Exactly. And so who
are you really?
Who are you really?
I feel
Can you imagine sitting at that table and he's like, and I just had my head on Jesus' chest, just chilling.
Just chilling.
That's fair.
It's me and
Ain't
Jesus.
nobody else feel bodacious enough to have the head on their man's chest.
But you know what's crazy? I was gonna say it could also be like, hey, Peter could have been like, Jesus spent the night at my house.
Right?
Like he lives with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gave him a room. But he's not saying that.
On this rock, I built my church.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't he the only one that doesn't include that?
Dang, maybe.
Does he?
Can we fact check that?
Which is also wild. Everybody else wrote a story,
for
and
real.
John was like, my story's completely different.
Redacted.
Right?
I don't think he includes Peter's.
As you answer,
Yo,
I'm
they
going to
was
search it.
beefing, fam.
Bro,
Like,
big beef.
Big beef.
Big beef.
What?
Just crazy.
What you have against Peter, bro? Like,
I want to know. Now I want to know.
that's one of the questions when you get to
I'd probably say, what's my Bible hill I'm willing to die on? I got a couple actually. First and foremost, if I was Joseph and my people sold me into slavery,
Stop.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You're going film a rap, okay? I don't care. Ain't no whole grace of God, none of that. No, we throwing hands. You sold me into slavery, bro.
Bruh.
Slavery. You sold me into slavery.
Literally.
How am I? How? Explain this to my dad. You sold me into slavery. Now I get it. I was talking a lot. Hey, all y'all finna bow to me. But you about to bow today. You about to bow for real. Because
gonna
there's
bend the
no
knee.
way I'm finna let you get away with selling me into slavery.
Bruh, it's wild.
That's one.
It's like, yo,
And
there's
then,
a famine. Y'all gonna stay hungry for a
bro,
little
y'all
longer.
no, I would have fed everybody else except
them.
except them 12. Benjamin wouldn't even have eaten. He ain't had nothing to do with it. Benjamin
wasn't even born yet.
Wasn't even born yet. Benjamin
Still catching
Benjamin gotta go.
Listen,
Sorry,
buddy.
buddy.
Like, y'all know how long I was in prison for?
That's how long
For
y'all
something I
not
ain't
about
do?
to eat.
Right? Like, you know what? Everybody in prison.
Everybody goes to Potiphar's house. Go clean the floor right now.
Everybody go to prison.
Everybody's going to
I'm
prison.
relying on you right now because that woman lied on
Bro,
me. So,
nah, there's no way. That's one. And then two, I want to start by saying I respect him. But I don't care what I'm doing in the house, in the church. You're not about to whip me out no temple. I don't care if I am willing and dealing in the temple. You're not about to put no belt to my grown ass and beat me out the temple. Sorry, Jesus, I love you to death, but you're not finna belt to ass. I'm grown. I'm grown,
Bro, you about to throw hands with Jesus, fam?
bro. Just the thought of another grown man whipping
you.
me out the temple.
That got to be a serious beating, bro.
A serious
Bro,
beating.
I'm pretty sure there was a nigga that was like, nah, you ain't funny. Aight. Bam, bam, bam.
And just
Bruh, just
whipped
nigga.
out. Sorry, I would have just went to hell that day. Like, whipped me. I'm grown, bro. I got a wife and kids.
I think.
I ain't got
bro,
kids, but I got a wife and a
Jesus walked in there
family.
flipping tables, bro. I think
Flipping tables?
He walked in there brolic, bro. He wasn't playing like,
Somebody got right hooked.
For
bro,
real.
right?
Before he
Like,
flipped the table, he right hooked somebody.
like somebody had to get hit with something. You don't flip a table and everybody walks away unscathed.
No, that's facts. That's facts.
They, bro,
Somebody got hit with a pigeon. Somebody he done flipped over all the money changers tables.
oh man.
Yeah.
Your money on the floor. You can't.
Money on just
You
coins,
can't pick it up.
Coins like Sonic rings everywhere.
And you can't pick it up.
This man said coins like Sonic.
Can you imagine here whipping
You trying to pick up you ever seen a quarter get on the floor
And you can't
you can't pick that and you just there like I'm trying to get the denari off the ground. I can't. Oh man. Those would probably be my two. I think my last one would be Samson was tripping when he pulled honeycomb out of a dead lion, bro.
And ate that thing.
And ate that joint. You's a nasty nigga. You's disgusting. You pulled a honeycomb out of a dead
lion.
Out of a dead lion that you ripped in half, by the way, with your bare hands.
For why?
For what? Just because I can.
Yeah,
For
he
why?
that dude.
Just because I can. But why are you eating out of dead things? And then you give it to your parents.
Like, yo, taste this honey.
He brought it home.
Imagine.
Oh, man.
His father finds out. You can't fight him.
Yeah,
He's gonna rip you in half. What do you do if Samson gives you honeycomb out of a dead lion?
Does the Bible say how tall Samson was?
I don't know.
So, as I was younger, I used to think Samson was like this big buff dude.
I
think he
want
might have
him to
been
be 5'1",
small,
180.
But I was gonna say
I want
feel
him
like
to be tiny.
I feel like he's like
And just like ripping.
Just
like,
5'7", 170 pounds, soaking wet, like
just destroying.
killing people with jawbones of donkeys. Like,
real.
just there's nothing he can
Wildin'.
do, bro. But him being like 5'8" and 170.
Oh,
He looked
that'd be
like
hilarious.
I want him to look like Captain America pre Super Soldier Serum, like bone, like 12-year-old body, like, because that's the only way it could be a miracle.
No, it's fine.
Like if I saw like a 6'4", like 250, runs like a linebacker.
Well,
like,
yeah, he built strong.
that makes sense, but it only makes sense for it to be a miracle if the nigga like 5'8".
And that's why it had to send a spy to get him in the form of his wife. Because they're like, well, it's clearly not because he's strong.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Did John include Peter?
I couldn't find it. It wouldn't load.
It's not there.
No.
No, I don't want to say that.
Oh no, so I don't. I think Matthew might be the only one who includes that line specifically.
You said only?
I think so, but
Yeah,
my
Matthew, a real
phone
one.
wasn't loading
Let's
properly,
go.
the Bible app, and I'm not finna sit here for the next 45 minutes and search it.
No, it's all good.
That's
It's all
fair.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about Matt. What about you? What's a Bible hill you're willing to die on?
I low-key think Jesus was introverted. I'm pretty sure he was, bro. There's too many times when Jesus like pulls up to a spot, like heals everybody, and then like literally he sees the crowd getting thick, and he's like, "Nah, y'all boys, I'm out. That's it." Like I remember reading through. I don't remember.
I can see that.
Yo, like what was it? They were looking. He like there was a big like healing thing. I think he might have been at like one of the disciples' houses. And like Jesus like leaves, ducks off. They were looking for him. There was like, yo, there's still more people here to get healed. And he was like, yo, we're going to the next city. Let's bounce. Like
He's like, I'm out of here.
Like,
I
yo,
can't do it.
my social battery is drained. Like,
Zero.
yo, y'all 12 already take up 50% of it. Like, yo, we can vibe for like a little bit and then like next time,
can't.
fail.
Honestly?
Like
Jesus
low-key.
being introverted makes sense.
Low-key.
That actually makes sense.
I agree. Number
Like-
one, he was ducked off till he was like 30.
Bro,
And then when
ain't
his,
talk to nobody.
and then when his mom is like, hey, can you like, we're running out of wine at the party. He goes, woman.
Right. Yo.
But also, I think whatever experience happened to him when he was 12, he was just like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this until God the Father tells me. I'm not listening to anybody else.
Bro.
Because when I was doing it, everybody was up in arms. My parents can't find me.
They lost me for days and just realized they couldn't find me.
Nobody really cares.
Also, I mean, he was he quiet? Either he was quiet or he was always away with people. Because he wasn't home. Clearly.
Yeah. Bro, he was like,
they
yo,
didn't realize he was gone. So he's either quiet or he was always with somebody else.
y'all got scared because I was lost?
He's probably just quiet.
I'm going to be lost for the next 15, 16 years.
The one time he does speak up, he's 12. The first time he does speak, 12-year-old, he gets reprimanded by his mom. What are you doing? You're 12. Go make a seesaw.
And he was like, but they talking about my Bible out of context.
Yeah, no. We need chairs, Jesus. Make a couch, damn it.
Also, it's not, I don't even think it's a hill I'm willing to die on. People had to have furniture made by Jesus in their house, right?
Yes.
Yo, that's some good furniture.
That's some good furniture.
Made by Jesus?
What if he just wasn't the best carpenter? What if he's just a terrible carpenter? Like Amish people today make better chairs than Jesus.
Because he was just doing it half the time.
He's just like, oh
I hate
God,
this. I hate this, bro. When you in that job that you're like, yo,
he was like,
God was calling me someone
that sent me, but until then, I guess I'm in the stool.
I gotta make this stool.
I'm in this chair.
And he's just at
and the one time he does what he wants, he gets reprimanded.
And he's just at this 9 to 5. He hates
like,
the 9 to 5. I hate making chairs. I hate it.
Get me up.
It's probably a very lucrative business for. He probably because there's only one carpenter in the town. Everybody got to come. There's no competition. You have a monopoly on the entire city.
There's no IKEA.
You know how much
no IKEA.
You know how much money he's making? He's like, oh my God, I gotta make money again.
But to like Matt's point, there are instances where Jesus is like, I'm gonna go up on this mountain. You guys cross the river. I'll meet you on the other side.
For real, I'll meet y'all over there.
I'll meet y'all over there.
Meet y'all over there is crazy.
Number one, fully aware of the fact that he could just walk on water. He had to know, right? Because he's like, I'll meet y'all over there.
He be like, yo, who else coming? Who else finna be there?
Right? He's like,
y'all go ahead.
He's like, I'm tired. I'm gonna go up on this mountain. I'm gonna pray and take a nap, and then I'll meet y'all.
Bro, he be at the bottom of the share. Everybody like having
you talking to somebody and they're like, hey, we got tickets to New York, and you're like, I need to go vibe. I'll meet y'all there.
Yo,
we have plane tickets, sir.
I'll meet y'all there. It's fine.
He just teleports,
bro.
I'll meet y'all there.
Everybody at
crazy, and then they see him walking on. Bro, anyway,
so like he's like you looking at the plane window. He just like sitting on the window vibing.
He's sitting on
the window on his phone, sitting on the wing, just like this.
Scrolling.
What is he's on the Nimbus cloud,
right? Just vibing
on Goku's Nimbus. Just all right, blah la la la. We're almost there. Like what is going?
You get to bag checking. He's already out there.
He's just standing there,
just vibing
with his bags. What took y'all so long?
I told y'all I'll meet y'all there. Like,
nigga, what? All right. I thought you was coming tomorrow.
I thought you had another flight planned.
Yes,
I thought you was going to hop in another boat.
I didn't know you was going to meet us here when we got here.
Oh, man. Okay, well, if you're listening, y'all got any other Bible hot takes, put them in the comments.
For sure.
If you want to have a theology debate, and that's your hot take, sure. We clearly didn't do that. But if you are the viceroy of Bible, by all means,
the viceroy of Bible
put your comment down there, and you can argue with people on the internet all day. But I have life, so
I'll argue with you.
There we go. He has nothing to do. Clearly,
I'll argue with you.
But so, today's topic for his first episode back from our little hiatus is, I guess, men in faith.
Yeah, man.
There's like a prevailing thought pattern that like men don't go to church. Why don't men go to church today? And there are a lot of reasons people have about why men don't go to church. We're not going to solve that here, clearly. If you came to this podcast looking for the solutions, you're wild. So no, we're not going to solve that. We're going to have a conversation about it. So I guess I'll pose the question to producer Matt and Tariq. Why do you guys think men find Christianity as we know it to be difficult? Because there are other streams of Christianity like Orthodoxy that are booming with men right now.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about normal Protestant evangelicalism as America knows it today. Why do you think men find it difficult or find faith in that realm to be difficult?
I mean, to be honest, at least in some contexts I know, excuse me, I feel like, and this is not and these are not like sweeping generalizations, right?
Yeah.
I want to.
Please don't comment. I love it. I don't find it difficult.
Yes,
We're
we
not talking about
know
you,
we
homie.
love
Great job.
church, right? Like the people in this room love church.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like make a sweeping generalization, but I think very often enough for it to turn men off is that church has become very experiential.
Yeah.
And it's not what do I say? Church has become very experiential, very emotional in some aspects, right? And I think it's geared in some instances just toward women. In the idea of that, like, hey, like, and I don't like it either. Like, you'll see like this woman, she brings her husband to church, and everything the pastor does is like perfect, right? And then she's always comparing her husband to the pastor. I think that can be like a really big turnoff. I also think like it being like super experiential, like it's like, hey, if you're not coming, at least in more charismatic circles, if you come to church and you're not falling on the floor, you're not crying, or you're not doing all of these different things, then it's like, oh, then that's the way church should be.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that that's the case. I think church is broad enough and universal enough for it to be for everybody. But I do think in some instances that like people, or not people, men get turned off by some of those things where it's like, I'm not coming to worship this pastor, or I'm not coming to sit at the feet of this pastor. I'm not coming to cry every Sunday, right? I mean, men cry, yeah, of course, but like there's a way in which men handle situations that they believe church doesn't solve those issues.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
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 That's what you're thinking. Anything like you thinking as like your wheels turning as we talk about this?
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say the same thing. I think in at least the church circles that I've been in, I could only talk about like my experiences. It's potentially that it's more emotional than anything else. Where, and I don't think that's. I don't know if I want to say that that's a bad thing. I'm processing. I don't think that somebody's expression of faith, coming through like tears or falling out or like very like visible emotions is bad. I think when it's expected, almost like a hey, like, oh,
If
he's
you're
more
not
spiritual because
he
like,
does, yeah.
or she
That
like
makes sense.
these people are like, you know, obviously like they have the Holy Spirit because they like, you know,
Yeah, that
they're
makes
crying during this worship set, or their hands are raised, or they're emotive. Like that starts to become like this weird like thing. And I don't know, like it could be a little bit of that. Like you walk into the space and it's very much so like emotion based. And you kind of like Malik like kind of alluded to Orthodox Judaism, where a lot of that isn't so much emotion. It's really like, okay, we're coming in, we're gonna worship. Like this is like the set, the structure. Very like, hey, like head of the household. Very like, like, you know, Old Testament Judaism. Like, yo, like this is how things are ran. I think that there's a space for both of those things to coexist. And maybe in America, when it comes to like Pentecostal, evangelical, like facilities, it leans more towards that more emotional side of things than like the other. And you don't really see Jesus like coming up to somebody and be like, all right, lift your hands. like I don't like, or like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see like the Jesus of the Bible like expecting somebody to
Burst into tears.
to do certain things.
Was that expected?
No, it was not expected. I was like, well, I don't want to use that example because then Mike Todd gets off for spitting in dirt and rubbing it on somebody's eyes.
So
Wait, what did you say, Tariq? What?
No, not that. I was like, you're like, I don't see Jesus saying people lift your hands. True, but I also don't want the antithesis to be, let's just do everything part and parcel that Jesus did, because then we spit in dirt and rub it on people's face in church.
People's faces, yes, yeah.
And then I'm going to sue you.
So all that to say, all that to say this, I think that there's a.
I hate him. I hate him so much. I don't hate him. I hate his antics.
We'll pray about it.
But anywho,
how things are like on the spectrum. I think like it's. I don't know. Like, I think that there's space for both of those. Where I feel uncomfortable is where it's expected of you. Like, hey, you should be doing this. Or if you're not, like, doing this, then, like, you don't have the Holy Spirit. Or, come on, man. Like, why you not da-da-da? Like, it's almost like, bro, like, really? Yeah.
I feel that.
That makes sense. I think one thing I've noticed recently is, even along those emotional lines and, like, being in ministry and working at churches now for almost 5 years.
Talk about it.
A lot of ministry isn't built around Jesus.
You said is not?
Is not.
Oh, okay.
A lot of what we're going to do on a Sunday morning is people's preferences, the way we want to do things. And I was watching a guy on YouTube who is, I don't want to say his channel name because I don't like copyright strike, but he's atheist and he does church reviews. And
yo, I love that dude.
Right?
If you're thinking about the same dude, and he's mad chill about it too. He's not like being a jerk. Like
former charismatic.
Yeah.
He went to seminary, like. And he said, like, so he went to an Eastern Orthodox service, which...
Wait, so he went to seminary.
He's atheist now.
He used to be a believer.
He used to be a believer.
He
He used to be a minister. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'll send you the link. So, like, real chill, real down-to-earth dude. And some of the things he said about going to some of his favorite services have kind of sort of marked me. And he said... The services he went to like a Eastern Orthodox service. I think he's been a Coptic Orthodox, a couple of these more like ancient really faiths that aren't really like mainline evangelical Protestantism. And he said that what he loved is that the service wasn't about him. A lot of if the stereotype is true, if the stereotype is true that men don't like talking about themselves, we're gonna sit them in a room where the focus is you. The focus of this sermon is you. The focus of this worship is the cute, cuddly feeling that you feel. And it's not really about Jesus. And once you just have meetings, the meetings are, how do we make the men happier? And not how do we make God happier? Not even like he's dependent on if we could, but how do we please him and glorify him more? And so it's that. But also, I think society has duped men into thinking that emotionalism is wrong.
I feel that.
And so one thing, I was reading Revelation this past week, and you're marked by the fact that around the throne are elders and angels who are enamored at the presence of God and can't stop praising him.
Yeah.
And we've made this thing where men are like, oh no, I don't show emotion or I don't cry. If you aren't moved, maybe not to tears, but if you aren't moved in any way to be outside of yourself at the presence of Jesus, you don't know him.
Yeah.
And I was watching an interview with the pastor, and he was like, oh yeah, like we have like a little coffee bar for men that don't like worship, but love the sermon. And I wanted to say you have a coffee bar for unsaved men.
He said all of the unsaved people gather here.
And by all means say that, but
yeah,
ain't nobody preaching to heaven. We're going to join the angels as they sing holy, holy, holy. We're going to be raptured in the fact that God is so majestic and glorious.
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you to be able to sing songs at the karaoke thing we call worship. But if you can't be moved beyond yourself to go, maybe I'm uncomfortable. But even if you just sit down in the chair in the church and are just moved to like read the scriptures and meditate in light of who God is. But if you're just like, give me the sermon.
But yeah, I think it's
fair.
The word moved is like the key word there, right? Like, so I wouldn't say that I lived in atheist land because I didn't live in the atheist land at all. But there was like a good like 3 years where I was just like, God, like I really just like I believe that you exist, but I don't care about you, like because you obviously don't care about me, and would not fake it for anything. Would just walk that out and was working in the church and getting the church's paycheck. And also kind of like low key, like I'd be asking for forgiveness sometimes because like there would be like people that are newer to the faith that I'd work with alongside like one-on-one. And it would almost be like I'd like, I don't know. It was a wild time. Almost like I was bashing them. God, please. But the thing that like brought me back to him was him, and not like the expectation of somebody wanting me to like emote. And when I got brought back to him, like it was very emotional, like to the point where it's like, yo, nobody coerced, nobody was there. It was literally me 6 a.m. in the bathroom by myself, like getting ready for work, and like very like almost on the road to Damascus type like experience where it was just like, yo, this entire time you've been walking around thinking I don't love you, and I didn't want to take the cup, and I took it specifically for you, like, and just blah, like literally, like when it's that and it's like it's genuine, like there's actual change. I think maybe the issue, at least with the church, is that we try to manufacture something sometimes that is not genuine, potentially.
And a lot of men can see through that stuff.
Yeah.
So it just comes across as like fake and phony, right? And I think, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Yeah, and I was just saying, like, I think if you're going to this place for a genuine experience where the people are professing this very real God who's a very genuine, we'll say deity. He's all of this stuff, and you're trying to manufacture a response instead of just giving the person the thing. Like, I don't give you
Right.
The symptoms of a disease don't, like, I don't treat if I treat the symptoms, I'm not treating the disease, right?
Yep.
So, if I have a cough, like, I don't just take a cough suppressant. No, I go get antibiotics for whatever virus is inside of me. And if we flip that same way, if we're trying to manufacture responses and coddle people into this emotional response, then I think that men look around and they go, well, I don't know why y'all rolling down on the ground, but I don't see anything. I'm not moved to anything.
Yep.
Instead of giving them the antibiotics and saying, here is the cure to whatever you need, it's Jesus, right? And saying, this is what you need. This is what we have. And then letting the Spirit move in the way that only He knows how to.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
And if the Spirit doesn't move at the moment that you've like almost like tried to like force or like give the Spirit the command to move, like almost like this trusting that like, hey, Jesus is going to do His big work. Like, period. Like
in His timing.
in His timing,
Whenever
the way He wants
decides.
to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
And so even as you think about that, I'm thinking about, so like one symptom is clearly like a push towards emotionalism is problematic. I think another problem that you just pointed out is like not actually getting people to Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. And so if this guy is in church and he doesn't understand why people are rolling around, he can't ask anybody. He might get scoffed at.
Everybody's rolling
rolling around. And like, or he's going to go.
If you was rolling around, you wouldn't be worried about it. Like,
right? What the or if he goes to the pastor's going to give some pseudo spiritual answer that's not a real answer to the question that the guy is asking. But also, I think Tariq and I grew up at a church where like our lead pastor commanded the respect of the men.
Yes.
By his actions and not by like verbal command.
Yeah.
And it was like he was the hardest working person in the church.
Yes.
There was no question about how hard he worked.
Yes.
And I as I've been thinking and reminiscing even of my own like life and ministerial journey, it's like men respected him because he was respectable.
That's fair.
He was hardworking.
That's hard.
I remember like I interned there for a little bit, and he was 70 odd years old and climbing ladders and changing light bulbs in the lobby. And like, hey, bro, get off the ladder, bro. Like,
You're 70.
right? And or like we saw him like the church had like a lot of land up in Georgia, riding a tractor, mowing the grass on the land, like exhibiting respectable qualities that men admire to have, but also loving his family well, showing up for the church well, not being the guy who was rolling around on the floor. Not
basically what Malik said. Y'all, some of y'all niggas are sissies. That's some of y'all is soft. Okay, that's really what
making
it is.
a lot more money
niggas
than,
don't come to church because you rolling around
You preach barefoot. Why? Put your shoes back on.
I'm done.
Put your shoes back on. Man up, put your shoes back on.
You wave your hand like this. This is just weird stuff. Like,
Right?
stop.
Your hips too wide. It's just like,
You swish when you preach. I don't want to see that.
hey, we're not gonna have another season after this.
Oh, yo, we're canceled.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
yo, and we're leaving it in. No. But the reality is,
But
like,
men see stuff
be a respectable man.
manly men like respectable men.
Yeah, be a respect. Like, I remember, like, if you don't know, like, one of my pastimes was going out to shoot, and all the time, like, there'll be men there, and they're like, Pastor Malik, you shoot? I'm like, yeah, like, we didn't think Pastor shot. And I was like, child, I'll shoot you right now. I was like, we're going to the parking lot. Like, give me this, we can go on the side of the building, bro. Like,
He said, I will shoot you.
like
He said, I wouldn't think twice about blowing your brains out.
and so
If it's me or you
and
got a one-way ticket,
immediately
buddy.
it's been a point of connection, and it's just like, hey, let's go shoot. And through that, we're having conversation. They're clearly not on the range. You can't hear nobody out there.
Yeah.
But in the parking lot, I'm like, hey, all right, let's go out to shoot. But then let's go grab lunch after.
Yeah.
And they're having conversations, and they're wondering, like, well, like, I didn't think this part of who I was could intersect with faith. I'm like, no, because you're not violent because you shoot bullets at a paper target. How is that a violent activity?
Bro, the Bible violent, bro.
Listen.
Bro, I'm in Chronicles, bro. They
Listen,
talk about
Peter
the mighty men David used to like
ears
hang
off,
with.
bro.
Bro, it was cats that didn't make the mighty men list from David, and I was like, yo, he is a real, like, I don't understand
Right?
why he didn't.
And
And then
David
you
was
read the mighty
able to
men
be
list,
emotive,
bro,
and dance when his clothes fell off, and will still
kill
chop your head
people.
off.
and we'll
Kill people.
we'll
Kill
out you, bro.
people.
We'll literally off you easy.
Somebody who was I can't remember homie's name who disrespected David, and his
David
wife
said
had
somebody-
to save him.
oh.
His wife had to be like, "Hey, David, listen, my
Yo,
husband,
chill.
my husband, my husband's a fool."
Yo, yes, bro,
My
bro,
husband,
bro,
David
bro,
was like,
bro,
"No."
Oh,
I'm
he
gonna
was
kill
like,
him.
I need food or
Yeah,
something
and
like
they-
that. And the man was like, I'm not giving him food.
Bro,
His
they
wife
was
was
like,
like,
"Excuse me?"
here, please. he don't.
didn't David end up married?
Yeah, I think he
Yes,
married his wife.
after the dude,
This is a man after God's own heart.
after I think dude ended up dying or something like that. I don't think
Bro.
David
He ain't
killed
off him.
him.
Yeah.
No, but after dude died, David was like, "Oh, she free?
Say
Bring me
that.
them draws, ma'am."
Hey yo,
I was
hey
like, "Bro,
yo.
David was a wild
Dude,
boy."
the Bible is not kid friendly, bro.
Listen. If I tell people all the time, the Bible,
Yo,
Hilarious.
drama,
Hilarious.
drama, bro. Genesis,
Bro,
Hilarious.
savagery, bro.
Also weird, but oh yeah,
Genesis is a. You might as well watch All My Children, bro. It's a soap opera, bro. Nigga gets sold into slavery by his family, like,
bro. And I was just thinking, I think church is too soft. I think we get up there and we want to sanitize things. Some of the guys I've seen who have like the greatest impact on men get up on stage and call dudes fat. Clearly, I'm not saying you do that, but they're not pulling punches. Like, and I know a lot of pastors and leaders who live life to pull punches and be soft.
I mean, that's fact. Like one of my favorite preachers. I'm not gonna say his name, but like he got up on stage and he was just like, he was in the middle of a sermon and he was like, "Lord, help me not to blow it all on some coochie," from the pulpit. Now, I'm not saying that's acceptable in every single context, right?
I'm not saying that on a Sunday
I
morning.
wouldn't say that on a Sunday morning. He can say that.
If you can see my face right now.
But the point that I'm making is like he's saying like, hey, I'm not this big person that's above all the other men.
Blew it all on bro. I literally sat under.
Samson blew it
All
all
of
on
it.
Gucci.
The one I blew it.
Bro, everything.
Oh my
bro,
God.
everything. And he knew she wasn't good for him.
Nope. And he went back every time.
Every time. What
Bro,
a
what type of box
box,
was that?
bro. She
What
got off
that?
the- What kind of box you got? Anyway,
Yo,
my whole point was that like
this got to be rated R.
my whole point. Where's Leighton?
YouTube's literally gonna be like, "Is this
How is
this
it
episode
worse
for
when he's
kids?"
not
no,
here?
no,
It's worse when he's not we miss you, buddy. We couldn't make it. But yeah, we literally like my point was that like he was he didn't pull punches in the fact that he made himself out to be larger than what he was. And I think a lot of people do that in church, whether men and women, right? I think that's just like people are like, you stand up on a Sunday morning and you're the standard, not Christ. You're the pastor or preacher, male or female, is the standard. And then you get into this, okay, well, if you're the standard, what am I here for? Am I here for you or am I here for something else? You get what I'm saying?
But the thing is, like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I'm done.
I'm like, bro, like, I don't know. Like, when we start making ourselves that standard, and I think that's like a symptom of like the current church as it exists in America. Like, it is extremely hard for you to put that, like, keep that facade up for an extended amount of time.
Oh yeah,
you're going to fall.
So like when you fall, it's just like, dang, bro, if that was the standard, like if this pastor here was supposed to be like the person that got it all right and is now teaching me how to get it all right, like then there's no hope for me to get it all right. Rather than it being presented like like Samson was this person and he fell for the box. Like David was this person and he fell for the box. Like, and not just the box specifically, but like, like these people. But like, just being like authentic. All right,
Solomon was a wild boy too. But anyway, continue.
Solomon was
Sam's clever with the boxes.
Like this person that is technically down the lineage of like Jesus, like this woman was a prostitute. Like, and like just being authentically real, just being like, like even John the Baptist. Did we mention John today? I feel like we talked about John a little bit. But like, John, like just being like, cuz like I'm in jail right now. I know I said that you was that dude, but is you that dude? Like, send my disciples, go ask him. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bible is so like transparent, like, and it will not like cover up like what you done did. Like, and the person that you are, and then also the way that God sees you, despite the person that you are. Even when John doubted Jesus, like, Jesus' response was like, there is no person born of a woman that was greater than John, but there's, like, someone, or not someone, but I can't remember how he ended the sentence. Anyway, all that to say this, bro, like, who you are and being transparent doesn't change how God sees you, one, and then two, like, maybe we try to look too perfect, not even too perfect. We try to put on like this. The church tries to put on this facade of perfectionism that is just unattainable, rather than being transparent and just letting people see like what the deal is.
And there's that. And I think one of the issues is we do this as humanity. We swing pendulums. Yeah. So we're from the older generation of pastors are like, I'm the standard. This is holiness. And then when they fall, it blows up. And then we have this unserious generation of younger pastors who live pastoral life like clowns. Yeah. Yeah. And they aren't serious about the call. They don't carry it with the sort of weight that is worthy. And men say, well, you just like me. Yeah. And so you're not the standard, but you're also not different. Yeah. And so there's no holiness. And it's not even that you're in sin, but like you don't live a set apart life. So how would they see an example of that? Yeah. Right. Right? Like you get up there and you're talking about watching the same filth you're telling them not to watch. Your sermon illustrations include shows that you shouldn't probably watch, much less tell people you watch. Yeah. And so it is these sort of dualistic realities that like, no, like people often say like one of the things men want in life is purpose. And it's why men go towards certain groups like Hebrew Israelitism, because they feel like purpose and they feel fulfillment. Or back in the days of Malcolm X, a lot of dudes went out that way with Malcolm. And it's like they want purpose, and church, in order to be sterile, has removed calling people to purpose. No one is going to get up there on a Sunday morning and say, hey, John says if you continue in sin, you do not know God. John doesn't say if you fall into sin and you have a struggle, it's okay because God just loves you. Yeah. I said, no, if you habitually sin, you're a child of the devil. It says your father is Satan. Yeah. And we will try to sterilize it. We'll try to be nice with it. And we aren't calling people towards purpose. Yeah. And men probably are looking for someone to say, I'm not the standard. Jesus is, so follow me as I follow Christ. Yeah. And so there is no way to lead people well if you exclude the follow me part. Yeah. Which means as a leader, you have to be willing to to live a set apart life so people can see what it looks like, but also live that intention with transparency. So people see that I'm trying to live a set apart life. I am not the set apart life. Right. Yeah. And it's called like, so if like, again, watching this show and this dude was like, the men, they don't get worship, so I'm going to set up a coffee bar. No. Hey, you don't like worship? Let me sit out here and explain to you why you have to be someone who loves to worship God. You don't have to cry. But here's why you should be moved to do this. I'm not going to accommodate you so you can sit outside of service. I'm going to call you to be a person who worships God.
Right.
And a lot of church these days is accommodating. And no one's calling people towards, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to live like that. Paul was big on like, oh, they don't understand? Hand them over to Satan. And Paul's straightforward with it. He was like, all right, stop sleeping with it. Was it sleeping with your mother-in-law or something?
Mother-in-law, yeah.
Stop sleeping with was it your father's wife? It was something. Stop sleeping with her. And Paul, they don't listen. Snip. Like, get real with it. And there is
your
a stepmom, I think it is. Yeah. And it's like
wild.
And so let's not be holier than thou. Let's also not be secular as ministers of the gospel.
Yeah.
And call every man, woman, and child to the standard that God has for them. And I'm pretty sure we will see better results because people are now pressing towards the mark instead of being told that they are okay without Jesus as they are. Right. And he's going to love them just the way they are. He is going to love you. You still go to hell. Like it's just the facts of it. Like, and it's like, well, so again, like all of these things I think contribute to why men find faith in church hard. And then but I think I have one more thought about that. But does anybody else have any thoughts on
I did kind of want to touch on it. You did mention like the other sects of like the Hebrew Israelism or Nation of Islam, these different places. They have structure. They have a place and a purpose for men, right? So like I watched it. So if you don't, I'm big into apologetics, and I watched this Hebrew Israelite guy, and they call him captain, but whatever, like that we can bypass that. The only thing is, he goes out and he preaches against like, hey, you got to live a sober life. They don't pull punches in pulling people to a standard, right? Hey, if you believe in he'll say like, if you believe in the mighty Yah, then you need to live a sober life. We don't drink here. We don't sleep around. We have one wife. We have a family. We do this. We do that. We don't do that here. One thing that I think that we're missing is just that boldness in the church to just say like, hey, in this house, we don't do this because of, let me show you why. And we crack open the scripture and we break down the text and say, hey, this is why. Because it wasn't until I started breaking down text that my heart started to change, really, truly change. And the people that are rolling around on the floor, the same niggas, they still rolling around on the floor, right? But then they get up on Monday morning and they end up in a woman's bed, right? There's no change there. But when I opened up the word and I cracked the word and I said, okay, this is actually the standard that I need to live to, not whatever cultural thing that people have like placed in the church, right? And I'm not against culture. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that like, hey, the word is the standard, not the culture, right? The word is the standard. When we, some of the most like godliest men that I know are all beasts when it comes to scripture. All of them. They don't pull no punches. They don't do anything like that. When they get in the word and they start to talk about the word and things of that nature, they're gonna break it down. And if they don't know, give them an hour. They're gonna come back to you. You get what I'm saying? So it's like those are the type of things that I think men yearn for, because, and I'm not saying like, oh, you crack open you crack the Bible open to like go argue with people. It's like, no, when I read this thing and I see what the standard is and I see what I'm supposed to be doing, okay, now I understand how I'm supposed to lead my family, how I'm supposed to be a husband, how I'm supposed to be a father. If I can understand how the Father in heaven is a father to me, whether I had a father or not, now I know how to be a father. Now I can be now I have purpose. Now I know what to do. Now I can lead my family effectively, right? But all of the people if all we're going to do is come around and play around and pity pat in church, then people are gonna look around and they're gonna go, this is foolishness. They're gonna see through that, especially when if I know I'm struggling and I go to the strip club and I see the pastor in the section, what's going on?
You finna say here there to evangelize?
Yeah, and lay hands, I bet. But my thing, like, you get what I'm saying? So it's just like, hey, whatever the standard is, let's be consistent and let's keep that. Men, at least for me, by and large, consistency. If we're gonna do something, let's do it, and let's not pull punches with it. Let's not be soft with it. Let's do it.
That's facts.
And so yeah.
One final thing was, I think we might have talked about this on pod before, but it's been so long. You guys forgot already, because I've forgotten if we talked about it. And so there was a social media thing I went around long ago, and one of the things that they said was like, church doesn't offer solutions that men can use.
I don't agree. But
right? And so again, I was like, you go to a weird church. And again, it was like, church is offering faith as a solution. And all of the things that they said were wrong solutions to life's problems, were objections people who did not know God would make. And
That's
so
fair.
what that pointed out to me was, again, going back to what Tariq is saying, like, we keep offering these people all of this stuff without actually making sure they know God.
Right.
Because faith is not a solution if you don't know the object of faith. Belief is a solution if you know the object of belief. Faith is a solution if you know the object of faith. And God is a solution if you know him. And so it's really getting to that place of understanding and like having faith in him. But also, let's be real, this is beyond like men. Like, women are deconstructing at the fastest rate right now as you record.
Really?
Women are deconstructing so beyond this, we have presented people with solutions that aren't real. Get people back to Jesus. And also be a safe place. People are leaving the church not just because of theological reasons, but because everybody is sinning with everybody else. And like holiness, like, get people back to Jesus and back to holiness.
Holiness is still right.
Honestly, where did that go?
Holiness is
like,
still
come
right.
on, like, bring back holiness. Like,
I'll never forget. My wife she went to work out and she had like the workout shorts on, and her grandma, like old school Pentecostal Kojic, right? Old school she don't play, right? And she walked in, she was like, "Girl, where you going in them shorts? Where is your clothes? HOLY spell holy when I was a kid. HOLY spell holy now." I said, she was just working out, but the point remains.
yeah,
Holy is still holy.
it's still spelled the same.
It's
ain't it,
still
Granny?
spelled the same.
Listen.
Granny don't play. You feel me?
And so, like, I believe that a lot of men find an issue with church, a lot of women find an issue with church, is because church is about a lot more than Jesus these days.
Yeah.
It's about programs, and it's about this group and that group
The
and
lights
this.
and stuff. I think we get caught up in production of church. And I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
We get caught up in the production. And I'm not against like a big LED screen. I think they're actually dope. If I would want one for my church, right? But I think we get so caught up in the production of the church that we miss what we're actually here for. And I think not just men, but men and women who are coming and seeking a real answer. Like, when my grandparents, you could say, "Hey, the Bible said so believe it," right? And all right, cool. They're going to take it and they're going to run with it, right? That's why when I found out that the Bible doesn't say cleanliness is next to godliness, I was like, oh,
I got
all
in
right.
so much trouble for
Bruh.
That's not, if you believe that that's in the Bible, I'm sorry, it's not.
Find it for me and text me.
But I remember growing up hearing the Bible says cleanliness is next to godliness, right? So, and I said all that to say, like, hey, we end up inserting things into church instead of giving people the authentic thing that they're there for. That's a good point, right? So if we care about the lights, we care about. I mean, for crying out loud, I saw a pastor swinging from the rafters on Easter. I almost cussed. For what? For what?
He believes he can fly.
In the middle, right? And I'm sure he. Anyway, my point was like, what are we doing? Yeah. And I think like if we get caught up in some of this stuff, like, oh yeah, like why is the pastor swinging from the rafters like Chris Brown at a concert? Why? What is going on?
That's literally
what I'm telling you that, but it's like, again, the focus of church is like it's production or it's people.
People heavy on the people,
like we're heavy on doing
preferences.
Like,
yeah.
like we'll alliterate the whole way out. Like, and it's like, no, we're here for God. We're not here for people.
Production, people, and preferences.
Right, and so it's like every summer your church does a at the movies sermon series where you talk about how the Bible can be found in Iron Man. If you don't get out my face with that,
I'm done.
These are real things. Google it. Don't watch it, but Google it.
I believe you.
And if you were to just search every summer, half of these churches around the country, because again, what is that for? And they'll tell you it's to get people in the door.
The marvelous Jesus series.
Right? The marvelous Jesus. Hold on, that's fire though. That's fire.
That's what I do. Right?
Let me put that sermon series idea. Y'all take that.
Listen,
just that quick.
And this is what the meeting looks like. Because then the black dude is like, oh my God, Black Panther is a type of Christ. Shut up, you heretic. Get out of here.
He said, as you can see, I'm not dead. I never yielded. 3 days later, I am not dead.
And it's like that. And why? Because people are going to like
Jesus.
it. And the focus is people. And no one is sitting down and asking the question, how do we get people to just know God? Mm-hmm. Not how do we get people to know God and like it here? Not how do we get people to know God and tithe here? How do we get people to know God? Because I think if we sat down in front of a generation of men and women and said, like Peter, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have, I give you thee, and we give people Jesus, we would probably see some differences. But instead, we give them our programs, we give them our platitudes, we give them our preferences, and we give them other people, and then wonder why they leave church.
The peas is crazy.
That's what they teach y'all.
Right?
That's what I paid all that money for in seminary.
People, platitudes, their preferences. All right, bro, we get it. You're a preacher. Damn.
Those went in off the dome, off the top of the dome. Off the
Crazy.
top of the dome.
Crazy.
Platitudes.
Preacher.
When
He's a preacher.
Bro, when have you ever used platitudes in a sentence like you
I guarantee you the last time he saw the word platitude was on the SAT in high school. I guarantee you. That's the last time.
Bro.
I don't. But one thing I don't want to. I want to say. I'm not here. We're not here to beat up on the church because there are many ministries that I believe are doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? I mean, we could throw out names right now, and they're people who our churches are growing because they come, authentic. All they do is come. I got the Bible. Yeah. We're going to sing a couple songs. Mm-hmm. We're going to take your offering. If you want to give it, you can. If you don't want, fine. I came here for you. You came here for this. You get what I'm saying? And they teach the word and they teach it unapologetically. And they don't say sorry. And then when they do that, the churches grow. Yeah. I think it was you that said like, oh, you sent me a Barna study or something like. I don't remember if it was Barna or whatever, but it was basically saying that like when the man goes to church, I think it's like 97% of the time. When the husband goes to church, the entire family goes to church. 97% of the time. So it's like if we as men go and we look at this word and we call ourselves up to the standard, we're gonna look at our children and say, "Hey, we in this house. As for me and my house, in this house, we're gonna serve the Lord." And I think it goes I think it really does change lives, bro.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts before we wrap up this episode, y'all boys?
No, I'm good.
And to Tariq's final point, and I'll say this as we head up out of here. Find a good church. We like to make it seem like all these churches are doing wrong. Like we're not bashing the church. Honestly, the churches that are doing weird stuff might be the smallest fraction of a percentage.
That's true.
Of the churches that are out here doing it. But those are churches we go to because their websites are the nicest, their live streams the prettiest. They got the fog machine, they got the coffee machine, they got the trampoline for your kids.
Got the trampoline.
And we those are the churches we go to, and we have problems when there is a pastor who has been faithfully serving a church for the past 15 years. It's only 100 of them in that building. It's only 50 of them in that building. But every Sunday he gets behind that pulpit and he preaches the word of God, and he goes to work on Monday morning.
Facts.
He
worked 2 jobs.
Yeah, and he works 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he doesn't, his family lives modestly and they live within their means. But those aren't the churches that we talk about, and those aren't the churches that we go to. But I guarantee you those are some of the churches that will be the best for your soul.
Facts.
Because when we get to heaven, God isn't going to say, "Depart from me, your church didn't have a fog machine." He's going to say, "Depart from me, I didn't know you."
Done. Y'all did not represent me well.
He's not finna say your live stream wasn't in 4K. I didn't know you.
You and your fog machine. Lake of fire.
Take the fog machine with you.
That's funny.
But listen, that's Holy and Hood. We out of here, y'all boys.
We out of here. Like, subscribe, please.
Please subscribe to the Patreon. Like it up. But other than that, we'll see y'all next time. Deuces.
You already know though, real nigga coming out the so flow, and the flow wavy got a boatload. Oh no, looking like you running out of stamina. Call yourself an animal, cause you know you ain't.